Good morning, dear teacher, dear community. Welcome to the question and answer session this morning. Before we begin, let us enjoy three sounds of the bell and enjoy our breathing and bring our mind, come back to our body, relax our body, calming our mind, knowing it's cold outside, but in here we have the warm space. So return to oneself and really touch that feeling of pleasance. Let us enjoy three sounds of the bell. So, dear community, this morning the question and answer will be in both languages, Vietnamese and English. So some of the response will be in Vietnamese. So if you don't understand Vietnamese, please go get a translation device in the corner near the sound room. Before we begin, let us introduce to you the panel up here. So next to me is Sister Joy, Sister Nghiem, and next to her is Sister Thanh Lương. And in the far right is Brother Phap, and myself is Brother Duyệt, and we're happy to be up here to listen to your question and answer from our practice. And so for the question and answer, we invite any friends who have a question related to our practice, our lives, our challenges, our joy and happiness. And so you can come up here and take a seat. And before we begin to ask our question, we can listen to one sound, the bell, and breathe and calm and allow the question to manifest. And a good question doesn't have to be long, but it's straight from the heart. And if it's something real and sincere, I think it can help us, but also benefit others, because some of our friends may not want to come up here, but through your question and through our situation, they can relate. And when we respond in a way that can help them shining light on the situation, and it can benefit them. And so, and brother and sister also try to answer, of course, according to our practice. And but knowing that the answer sometimes not just come from outside, but through our practice. And we hope that our response can somehow be a condition for you to look deeply, and through your practice, you may be able to answer your question. And so with that, let us begin. And we have a lot of young friends here Don't be shy. You can come up here and take a seat and ask your question. And or other friends who feel you ready, and please come up here. Thank you. And if you don't feel comfortable coming up here, you can write your question on a piece of paper and then give it to the bell master.
Good morning, dear community, dear Thai, and my name is Leisan. My question is more like sharing maybe your personal story. It's maybe for myself and for everyone else helpful to know, like in certain level of your life, you come to the question of like finding your place in the world, where you belong, what do you, like where you feel right to be, and without regret doing that, committing into your life. And in your case, I see that you committed for something and you're doing that, and I'm just curious how you got there, how you got this knowing or realization of like, this is what I want to do. I want to be in service for people, and I just want to hear your personal story. If that's okay. I don't know if you consider it as a question, but it will be nice to hear. Ask for inspiration for Young and for myself. Yeah, thank you.
Good morning, beloved community. Before I answer your question, I would like to ask your question. You would like to ask, I will ask. I will answer in Vietnamese. Câu hỏi của chị là muốn hỏi là làm sao mình biết là mình đang chọn đúng cái chỗ mình đang, phải không? Cái câu hỏi của chị là mình làm sao mình biết là mình đang chọn đúng cái việc của mình đang làm và đúng cái nơi mình đang ở.
It's more like it's not just about what you choose. It could be for anyone, like how to find your profession, or like a place in the world. And like I feel like that could be a how to say it, just knowing inside of yourself that you belong to a certain place, a certain role. But as of that knowing could be anywhere you are, and I feel like you had that. You find that knowing that you want to be, become a nun or a monk, but I'm not saying for everyone, like, we want to be that, but I'm just saying, like, how we can find that knowing and how you know that you know. Makes sense? And if you can share that you knew that, how you knew, and how that just feels, so maybe that will help or guide some, personally me, like, oh, that's where I feel good, oh, that's how I know, navigate in life, maybe. Makes sense? Yeah, thank you.
Dạ, con xin phép được trả lời. Để mà mình biết á, là mình chọn đúng cái mình muốn hay không á, thì mình phải thử. Khi mình còn trẻ, khi con còn trẻ thì con hay thử thách bản thân của mình trong nhiều cái lĩnh vực khác nhau để mình biết được là mình muốn làm cái gì trong cuộc đời của mình. Mình sẽ trong cái lúc mà thử thách mình á, thì mình sẽ gặp rất là nhiều thất bại. Thì khi mình gặp thất bại á, đó là lúc mình biết được là mình không phù hợp với cái nghề đó hay cái công việc đó, thì mình thử một công việc khác. Con nhớ khi mà con còn trẻ, con rất là sợ thất bại. Tại vì mình không có nhiều kinh nghiệm trong cuộc sống. Có những cái thất bại rất nhỏ nó cũng làm cho mình chùn bước. Nhưng mà khi con đọc được cái quyển sách là Dám Thất Bại, thì lúc đó con biết được là cuộc đời này mình phải thất bại rất là nhiều lần trước khi mà mình thành công. Thì từ đó con thử thách bản thân của con nhiều hơn. Và khi mà đứng giữa chọn lựa là mình sẽ tiếp tục cuộc sống của một người cư sĩ hay là đi xuất gia, thì cái điều đó nó phải xuất phát từ ước muốn của bản thân. Tại vì khi con quyết định xuất gia là tại vì con thấy được đời sống gia đình đó là không phải là cái đời sống mà con mong muốn. Con và chị của con muốn mình làm một cái điều gì đó nó khác hơn với cái cuộc sống mà tất cả mọi người đang đi theo. Thì cái đó cũng là một cái mà mình thử thách bản thân mình để thử xem cái con đường đó có phù hợp với mình hay không. Thì khi mà mình đã chọn được con đường, thì con thấy con đường xuất gia nó cũng khó lắm, nó không có suôn sẻ đâu. Nó có rất là nhiều thử thách trên cái con đường mình đi. Nhưng mà khi mà càng thực tập á, thì con thấy trên cái con đường này nó đem lại cho con nhiều tự do. Và mình thấy được là mình hạnh phúc. Tại vì mình biết được cái cách làm sao cho mình hạnh phúc. Và đồng thời mỗi ngày á, thì con thực tập trở về với chính mình. Để mình nhận diện những cái gia tài mà ba mẹ hay là tổ tiên trao truyền cho con. Và đồng thời con cũng nhận diện những cái hạt giống chưa tốt, những cái tập khí mà mình đang có ở trong bản thân của mình, để mình chuyển hóa nó. Thì con thấy là đời sống xuất gia bận lắm. Tại vì mỗi ngày nội mà nhận diện những cái hạt giống tốt và mình chuyển hóa những cái tập khí thì nó cũng hết một ngày. Mà tại vì khi con làm điều đó con cảm thấy rất là vui. Là tại vì mình có cơ hội được nhìn thấy những cái điều trong bản thân của chính mình. Mà nếu như mà mình không có làm người xuất gia thì rất là hiếm thời gian để mà thực tập được như vậy. Thì con thấy cái việc chọn lựa nào nó cũng có cái sự đánh đổi của nó ở trong đó. Cái chính là trong khi cái công việc đó mình có hạnh phúc được với công việc đó hay không. Và mình có cảm thấy vui khi mình làm việc đó hay không. Nhưng mà cuộc đời này không phải lúc nào mình cũng chọn được điều mình muốn hết. Có những lúc con rơi vô tình cảnh là mình chọn cái việc mà mình không muốn. Thì con tự hỏi bản thân con là mình sẽ làm gì để mình tận hưởng, mình thấy vui khi mình đang làm một cái công việc mình không mong muốn. Thì khi đó con tập làm cái việc mình không thích và con có mặt hoàn toàn với công việc đó. Thì sau nhiều lần như vậy thì con thấy con rèn được cái sự kiên nhẫn ở trong chính bản thân của mình. Và mình cũng có cơ hội mình học thêm một cái điều gì đó mới mà bản thân mình nghĩ là mình không làm được. Thì sự thực tập của con là chỉ có khi mà mình trở về, mình thực sự có mặt với chính mình lắng nghe mình và mình làm một quyết định. Thì quyết định đó dù đúng hay sai thì khi mà nghĩ lại mình cũng bằng lòng với cái đó. Tại vì mình đã suy nghĩ rất là kỹ rồi. Thì đó là câu trả lời của con. Cảm ơn đại chúng đã lắng nghe.
So, dear friend, dear Sangha, please allow me to add in something, because I think it's very good question, as is also very important question that we go to look for the answer for our whole life. Sometimes even we are 80 or 70 years old, we still feel that we are not good, we are not in the right place in the world. Why is it? I remember the time when I was very young, about 23 years old, something like that. And I was by myself in France. I was student at that time, and sometimes it's very hard. And when I was in my room in France, I just wish I can come back home and just lie down and sleep very well in a corner in my house with my parents, my family, even though they don't need to think, to talk, or to take care of me or however, but I really need that feeling that I just want to come back there. And now when I look back, I feel because I really need the feeling of safety, or the feeling of warmth, the feeling to be loved or to be understood, things like that. So I think the question is not how we can feel we are in the right place in the world, but actually the question is how we can feel we are in the right place in our life. And I feel, and I think that The answer is how we can feel deeply peaceful or deeply in deep clarity, in deep peace, deep calm, in the most, especially in the most situation, the most difficult situation. How we can find those things. So that is what we need when to feel that we are in the right place. Sometimes in the difficult situation, we try to go to look for some friends, and we really really feel that good with them, and maybe the friends somehow they are right place for us at that time. Somehow as the family, sometimes the quiet place, nature, something like that. We are our environment. So the environment is very important. Try to find a good environment to take refuge, so you can feel that you are in the right place. At least you can be yourself at that time first, because your friend accept you, let you as you are, and your family too. They don't expect you for whatever you need to be. So you feel free, you feel open your heart. You can open your heart at that time with them. So find environment that you can be yourself. So you can open your heart and you can feel relief first. I don't want to lead you come here, but kind of environment like the center, practice center can help a lot. Even though you come here, you interact with people, it's good. But actually the most important thing is you find a serene and peaceful place for you to come back to yourself. And to recognize what happened in you, how you can go better. And but sometimes it's too difficult, and I don't want to look for anyone, even though the most beloved people with me. And at that time, I really need to come back to myself. And I think we come back to our breathing, we come back to our steps. So I think this something can help us, really help us at that time. If we have a little practice before that, we know how to come back, to sit still and breathe and calm down everything. And so everything around outside of you that you don't feel good with will come down too with yourself. So it's not the things outside make you don't feel in a good place, but yourself make you don't feel that you're in a good place. When you're okay, everything around you is okay. Yeah. So try to practice, come back to your breathing, to your steps, and look for the deep moment that can help you relieve, and remember that moment. And whenever you feel difficulty and you feel that you are not in the right place, you come back to that moment, to that people, to that place, to resources yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, when I was recovering from depression, I felt a giant sense of relief that death, or to die, or when to die, is not a decision that I have to make. And I felt very peaceful with that. In the past 5-10 years, I've been witnessing the aging process of my grandpa from his 80s to his 90s. And it seems like with the development of modern medicine, it's becoming more and more of a choice that the individual, the family, has to make with the treatment plans of when to die and how to die. So I guess I have 2 questions around this. One is surrounding my grandpa, of how we can bring more mindfulness into making that decision when the loved one is in a state of coma, pretty much. He's not responsive. And the other question is how I, as the only practitioner in the family, could bring more mindfulness and start these conversations about death, which is a very taboo topic in Chinese culture, with my parents before they get to the end of their lives.
Dear Thầy, dear community, thank you for your question. It's a big question. It's about life and death. Well, in the teaching of the Buddha, a life of a monastic is to live mindfully each moment, each day, and to be mindful of our body, our breath, our steps, getting in touch deeply with each moment and with life. And the Buddha taught the monks and nuns and the practitioner that to contemplate on death too, contemplate on the body, the feelings, the mind, but the object of mind, and death and the process of decaying. And so, as you know, that life is a precious gift, and it's also bring about fear, because we want to live and we don't want to kind of go away. And so when talking about death, we all have that fear, the original fear. And so it's like a topic to contemplate, especially for me. Each day I contemplate on impermanence. We cannot escape old age, cannot escape getting sick, and then passing away or death. And why I do that is because I want to prepare myself, because I still have that fear, because I love life. Life is beautiful, even though it has a lot of challenges. But I still see the beauty in life, and also I can see the suffering in life, and I want to transform, and also to practice to help relieve the suffering in myself and others. And so to kind of not be able to do that is like bringing about fear in me. But I know that it's the fact, and it's a reality we all have to face. And not everyone can accept that right away. So like you mentioned, you are the only practitioner in your family. So maybe parents, grandparents might not ready. But at least I invite you while your time here. You come here often. We appreciate that. So you have the intention, the aspiration to practice, to transform, and to cultivate understanding for yourself. And so we invite you to contemplate first deeply in the body, and see the process, how we grown up from a young lady to the mid life, and then see people around where the skin is not smooth as once be. But be mindful of that and see that it's a natural process. And you in this environment of nature, you see the tree at one point is small, it's green, but then the falls come, the leaves start turning brown, wrinkle, and then falling down. So seeing the process of that, and knowing that we are to one day to just continue that cycle of life, of natural way of life, and reflect on for ourselves first. And when you gain a deeper understanding, and you'll be able to embrace the process of growing old, get sick, and die, you'll be able to embrace with peace. And remember how you embrace that, and be able to breathe with that process. And when you go back to your family and find the right moment, I think find a skillful time and skillful situation, and not just go directly, Mom, we are all gonna go, oh, we are sick and die. Straight like that, and your family might not ready to have the space to have that. So just first to practice peace and joy and happiness and solidity when you go back home, and visit grandma, grandpa, visit mom and dad. And maybe at one moment when you feel it's right, when you feel love is in the air, peace, harmony in the air, then maybe kind of holding the hands of your loved one, and then sharing from your heart. And I remember that in Deer Park, the monastic have to make a decision to moving a tube from one of our monastic. He's 80-something, and he have a heart condition, and he went through the quadruple bypass, but unable to come out. So before he go through the surgery, he leave his will and decision to the spiritual family, which is the monastic. And so when the condition is not there for him to continue with us, so we have to make that decision. And we sit together, and we surrounded him in the hospital. And then we chant and send peaceful energy to him. And so that in that moment before we removing the tube or turn off the machine, at least we send peaceful energy and wishing him that he continue in a beautiful way wherever we are, And we have the Sangati. The monk have the yellow robe, the nun have yellow. So we have that for him, and hopefully that he continue on the journey in a beautiful way. So I don't know how the situation, your family, but at least anything that we do, we share, we connect, come from a place of love and of peace and the best wishes. And so that the other person can receive, even though they're not ready to receive, but slowly, but through your solidity and your sincerity of love, then they might understand and accept. And but at least for now, before we do anything, like I share, I invite you to continue to practice living mindfully with us, and through that you kind of live deeply your life, and you have something for yourself, but also for other when you're ready to share. So that is something come up in me, and I like to share. And maybe the brother and sister can add. I think that's just the first question. Sister, you have something? So maybe, is that okay? Thank you for your question.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, my question has to do with wholeness, the whole self. And I was trying to think of an example to help explain. For example, if we are starting to practice with the 5 mindfulness trainings, I know I've learned that if we have a model in our mind, a place we'd like to be, we can repress certain aspects of ourselves. And later, they can express themselves in like a lashing out kind of way, as if we have this unrecognized self, and then the self we want to be, or the self we show outwardly. And so, I guess my question is, do you have advice for how we can integrate our whole selves into the practice without ignoring any aspects of ourselves? I'm going to try to think of a way to rephrase it. Yeah, okay, so good question. I was using the mindfulness trainings are example of like an aspiration. And I know as monastics, the precepts are something you vow to live by. And I imagine we come up against habit energies when we aspire to live our lives differently. And I'm wondering, if there's a part of us we don't like, we can ignore it, right? Like, and it can come back and express itself in a way that's hurtful. So for us, when maybe it feels easier to be in that mindset here, when we go back into life away from the monastery, and we try to practice with these aspirations, it can be difficult. And sometimes, at least in my experience, sometimes I think I have it down and then I don't, or I notice some other energy lash out, or I say something hurtful. So is there a way, I guess just some advice of how we work with those energies while also moving toward the trainings, the mindfulness trainings?
Thank you for your question. It's very hard. I like it, and I try my best to express some of my experience. I think when I do something, I have many levels. Like I try to do it correct, and good, better, or the best, right? I try that, and somehow it's correct is already good, but we try to do the best. And in our store consciousness, we have many kind of seeds, many negative seeds like the anger, jealousy, hatred, or something like that. And also, besides, there is a very good seed, like the seed of understanding, love, or humility, responsibility, something like that. And our work is try to water the good seeds in our consciousness. But we don't ignore or we don't try to put away the negative seeds in our consciousness, because they are still there already. So when we water the good seeds, and they will manifest in our life by the good things we do for ourselves and for another. And so the negative seeds will sleep in the deep of our consciousness. So the practice, the 5 mindfulness training, I think is the same thing. We don't ignore or put away or run away or refuse the habit energy or the negativity in ourselves, but we try to water the good seeds in us first. We try to do the good thing for ourselves and for another people, even though we don't really feel ready for that, but we try first. And sometimes we feel good with that. After we're doing the good thing, we feel really good and inspired to continue. there is always two levels in our life. Is the relative truth and ultimate dimension, ultimate and relative dimension. So we live in our life in relative dimension. We compare things. We see it's good, it's not good, or something like that. We hate people or we love people. We cannot behave in ultimate dimension with no comparison, with inclusiveness, something like that. We try, but it's very difficult, and we accept both level, both side of that. But we try to reach to the ultimate dimension by practice in our daily life, to not compare things, include people, tolerance. Again, to water the good seed in us, to water the seeds of tolerance, of understanding, of inclusiveness in ourselves. And so to go from the relative dimension to the ultimate dimension we go to that direction by interbeing. We practice interbeing in all our daily life. To see people like us, we try to put ourselves in that person to see how they feel, how they suffer, why they are like that. So we understand more about that people, and we have more love, we have more compassion to that people. So it's the way we practice to the relative dimension, to the ultimate dimension, and briefly to water the good seed in us. We cannot reach to the ultimate dimension right away. We need time, we need to practice, and we need to come back to ourselves to recognize very often what happens in us, what is good, what is not good. And we try to recognize and embrace all of those things with our compassion for ourselves, but not blame or feel guilty or something about ourselves. We accept everything in ourselves, and we try to practice in ourselves first, and then we practice towards the other. Yeah, it's my answer. I don't know, brother and sister will ask something.
Dạ, con kính bạch sư ông, thưa quý thầy, quý sư cô và toàn thể đại chúng. Con nghĩ là con lên đứng ngồi đây mà không nói gì cũng kỳ, nên con xin thực tập và chia sẻ. Trong đời sống hàng ngày thì trong sự thực tập thì con thấy cái sự thực tập nhận diện đơn thuần trong mọi hoàn cảnh nó rất là hay. Trong trường hợp mình thực tập giới hay là mình thực tập những cái pháp môn khác như ngồi thiền hay là thiền hành, thì nó cũng là giúp mình rất là nhiều. Khi mình thực tập giới thì mình cái câu đầu tiên trong bộ giới là mình ý thức được rằng những khổ đau do sự sát hại hay là sự lời nói không có chánh niệm. Cho nên nhiều khi mà mình thực tập nhận diện đơn thuần thì có thể lúc mình không có thể nào mà vào một cái khung cảnh mà mọi người đang nghiêm túc mà mình có thể đùa giỡn được. Và cái điều quan trọng là khi mà mình có thể lúc mà mình trong đời sống hàng ngày mình tiếp xúc với mọi người, mình có thể vì cái sự giữ giới của mình mà mình không có làm được cái sự hòa hợp trong khung cảnh mà mình đang sống á, thì mình phải có cái sự can đảm là mình phải nhận diện được là mình không có phù hợp với khung cảnh mình đang sống. Và con thấy khi mà mình cho ra cái bản ngã của mình mà làm, có thể mình làm tổn thương hay là làm những cái người xung quanh không có hạnh phúc hay là không có đủ niềm vui với mình á, thì mình phải có cái sự can đảm là mình phải thấy là mình đã có thể làm người ta không có hạnh phúc, nhưng mà mình phải biết cách mình thay đổi sau đó. Có thể lúc mình cho ra cái bản ngã của mình có thể giận hay là mình chỉnh đốn người ta, có thể là mình làm người ta thấy phật lòng với mình, nhưng mà mình sau đó mình phải đủ can đảm mình tới và mình xin lỗi, bởi vì mình có thể mình đang thực tập những cái này, nhưng mà quý vị các bạn không có giúp cho tôi thực tập cái đó, cho nên tôi xin lỗi là có thể lúc đó tôi phản ứng không có được dễ thương, hay là tôi nói lời không có đủ ái ngữ. Con nhớ có một lần khi mà con đi chơi với một thầy thì con đang rất là muốn thực tập là mình đi thiền hành là mình không có nói 100%, không có nói chuyện, là thực tập như lời sư ông dạy là mình thực tập 100% vào cái sự thực tập, để toàn 100% tâm ý của mình vào cái sự thực tập của mình. Nhưng mà cái người bên cạnh là cứ nói những cái câu chuyện mà làm mình cuốn hút, thì con nói để yên cho tôi thực tập. Nói chi nói dữ vậy. Thì lúc đó thì cái thầy đó có thể là họ cũng im lặng, nhưng mà họ thấy không có được thoải mái, tại vì dù gì mình cũng đã có sự thân tình với người ta đó. Thì trong cái buổi thực tập đó thì con vẫn thực tập im lặng và đi thực hành với sự im lặng 100%. Thì khi mà con nhìn nhận lại thì con tới gặp riêng với người đó và con thực tập làm mới hay là sám hối, là lúc đó con đang muốn thực tập là để toàn tâm toàn ý vào cái sự thực tập thiền hành, cho nên không có nói chuyện trong lúc đi, cho nên con xin lỗi vì nếu mà có làm cho thầy thấy tổn thương hay là không có vui con thì xin bỏ qua. Thì khi mình nói như vậy thì cái thầy kia nói cũng thầy đó cũng xin lỗi với con, là nói là tại vì nhiều khi có những cái câu chuyện không có thể nào mà không có chia sẻ được, thì cũng muốn nói chuyện để mà có gì đó vui á, nhưng mà thầy đó nói là nếu mà lần sau mà muốn đi thực hành như vậy thì sẽ không có có nói chuyện, và sẽ để dành một lúc nào đó, có thể ngồi lúc uống trà hay là những lúc khác. Thì có thể là trong đời sống hàng ngày có những lúc mà mình muốn thực tập hay là mình muốn làm những cái thực tập riêng cá nhân á, mà người khác có thể chưa, tại vì mình chưa có đủ sự truyền thông với người khác, cho nên họ không có hiểu và họ cứ làm theo những cái quán tính của họ, và bởi vì mình muốn thực tập quá cho nên mình phải bật lại, không muốn cái người đó. Nhưng mà con nghĩ là mình thực tập nhận diện đơn thuần, và mình can đảm để mà mình có thể làm nhưng người ta không có vui, nhưng mà mình phải có can đảm mình làm mới. Và cái tiếp tục nữa là mình có thể thực tập truyền thông với người ta, để người ta hiểu được là mình đang thực sự cần gì và làm gì để họ có thể thông cảm và đồng hành với mình trong những cuộc sống hàng ngày. Thì đó là một vài cái đóng góp nho nhoi của con. Thì con cảm ơn đại chúng đã lắng nghe.
So, dear community, we have a question from online. And so this will be the last question for today. And I would like to read the question. So the question is, there is no active Zen Sangha anywhere near me. I read the sutra on the better way to live alone. With that sutra in mind, how can we practice when there is no Sangha? So how can we practice when there is no Sangha? So dear community, I think this situation can happen to many friends. And at some point in our life, we just like want to find a place to practice, to transform, and to find peace and happiness. Just like the first question, how we can find the right place where you feel belong. And some friends want to find community because living alone can be tough sometimes. With the lack of interaction or connection, sometimes it can be challenging. And I remember when I first encountered the Dharma, like the teaching of the Buddha, and suddenly I'm interested in meditation. But then I unable to find a community, so I practice on my own. So every morning I would sit, but then I was unable to sit still for even a minute. 30 seconds in, my mind was like with lots of things, my body moving, and even the posture. Like I don't know how to do it right. And so eventually I went to a temple and I picked up some instruction from a venerable. He showed a video. At least I just learned how to sit, how to start prep myself for meditation, and how to kind of after meditation, how you massage your body and so on. So that was helpful. And so at some point when you're interested into practice and you don't know a Sangha, at least maybe nowadays you can go to Google. With AI, I think now very strong. I think they can find a lot of information, like wherever the city where you're in, just type in like meditation, practice Sangha, or meditation. Keyword is meditation, community, or like monastery, Zen practice monastery, thing like that. But if you really like the Plum Village tradition, you can also type in the keyword Plum Village. Our teacher name, Thich Nhat Hanh. And I think our community is growing, and I think it's everywhere, especially in the US and internationally. Almost many places, we have a community of practice. So go find, and if it's too far, try to make an effort to come and see how it's helpful for you. But if not, at least, or even go to YouTube. There's, I think, maybe some video that at least can show you how to learn to breathe mindfully, learn to sit correctly. And even we have Plum Village app. Yeah, if you have an iPhone or like an Android phone, you can go to the Google Store. Google Play Store or like Apple Store, and you put in a Plum Village app. And then there are like guided meditation. There are other practices that you can start with. But at some point, after you progress on your practice, we recommend you to find a community. So the reason is to kind of reinforce or like inspiring you to practice more diligently. Because by yourself or by ourselves, sometimes we get caught up with work, with life situation, and sometimes we just let go of the practice, and it's not helpful on the path of practice. Or at least you can make time or make arrangement to come here, even once a while, in a few months or a few times a year, or maybe once a year. Come to a practice center, at least to kind of put yourself in a community, an environment of practice where other people can help us shining light on our practice, so that we can benefit and nourish from other people. And so that is all I have, and maybe my sister have some other thought.
So, dear friend, dear Sangha, I just want to clarify a little bit, otherwise, the spirit of the better way to live alone. So, the better way to live alone, to practice alone, is not that we practice by ourselves, but we practice among a lot of people, but we still keep our mindfulness, sovereignty in us. We are not caught away by a lot of people around you. How we in among a lot of people, but we still come back to ourselves. We still recognize ourselves, what happens in ourselves at that time. Come back to your breathing, or recognize your feelings at that time. Is the most important. Then practice by yourself, but you didn't know. You don't know what happened in you and around you, right? So that is the spirit of the sutra. And I like to add a little bit why we practice without Sangha. I think first, if you would like to practice at home, I think you need a very good environment at home. You set your home in such a way that you feel very peaceful and you feel very ready to practice. So like a little corner, serene corner, beautifully, that when you go there, you feel ready to sit, like to sit down and breathe and come back to yourself. Or some way to do walking meditation by yourself. First is the good environment for you. And second thing is the time. How you can set the time for you to practice by yourself. Maybe you can set a schedule, but do not do very strict schedule that you cannot follow, or you feel so hard to follow your own schedule. Something light and easy and inspiring to practice by yourself first, like a little walking meditation, a little sitting meditation, drinking tea in mindfulness, or some exercise in mindfulness is good too. And try to follow schedule. So you need strong discipline and determination. Because maybe I think at home we very difficult to find a time for whole day, so we need some time in the day, and you determine at that time when, like in the morning and in the evening, you will do sitting meditation. So you do that. Even you are busy, you know that you're busy or you're very tired, but try to do that. I remember when I first came to Plum Village, and I really enjoy sitting meditation, and I try to do that every evening. And sometimes when I come back to the room after the schedule, after the day, I feel very tired, but I try to keep my own schedule. And I say to myself that I just need to breathe 10 times, and that's enough. But breathing 10 times in mindfulness. And I just breathe 1 and 2, and my head is go away. A lot of thinking come up, and I come back 1, 2, and 3, and my mind is dispersed again. And I do like this very long time to until 10. And when I can focus to my breathing until 10, I feel very good. I feel very joyful and inspired to sit and continue like that. And for this inspiration for another day too. So if you practice by yourself, do something that you feel relaxed, checking always that you relax enough, or you feel joyful enough, but not too tense, or try too hard to follow your schedule. So I think practice by ourselves is not difficult. It's not easy at all. So that the brother and sister choose to come to here, and and one more important thing is to have a teacher, because it's not good at all when you go in the wrong direction, and maybe you can have some mental problem later. And it's very difficult to correct that. So make sure with someone, with some teacher, that you go in a good direction. You feel peaceful, you feel at ease, you feel more mindful, you feel more clarity in your mind, something like that. Yeah, it's just my addition. Thank you so much.
So thank you, dear brothers and sisters, and thank you, dear friends, for your questions. And let us end here. And again, I just like to share that just continue to practice, to breathe, to walk mindfully, and put yourself in an environment of practice. And one day, the answer will manifest or reveal and bloom in your life. So let us end with the 3 sounds of the bell. So dear friend, now you can unfold your leg and give your body a gentle massage. And allow me to share some announcement. So after this, we will have a short break. And the next activity will be at 11, which is a walking meditation. So we gather just outside the sister dining hall across the street for walking meditation. And then at 12 o'clock, we will have Dharma sharing. And we will have 2 groups.